Hello everyone and welcome to my video guide on Ancient Gears. This is one of my favorite decks in the entire game. I think it's actually my favorite. Without further ado, let's quickly get over what the deck did in Duel Links. In a TCG, it never did anything. So there's that. In Duel Links, it was a strong meta contender during the early GX launch period. It never reached like tier 1 status or anything. But it was pretty good. I think you only had like one copy of Golem on launch, and then you got a second one. But it was kind of like a machine mismatch kind of deck that did use the Middle Ages mech skill pre-nerf to get Ancient Gear Beast on the field ASAP during your first turn, going second, for instance, which was pretty good. And then just a bunch of machine monsters. And Engine Gear Golem was pretty much the biggest threat you could get online without having to like worry about too many things facing it. And then the deck did nothing. And then with the 2019 launch of the Ancient Gear structure deck XDEX, whatever it's called. We got plenty of new toys for Ancient Gears to play with. Reactor Dragon, Wyvern, Geartown, Fortress, all of these which enabled a very consistent Geartown Turbo kind of deck, relying around Reactor Dragon being just massive and very difficult to deal with, especially with the Middle Ages mech skill giving it an additional 300 attack boost. So, pretty good, pretty strong guy, pretty beefy guy, a very linear aggro strategy, but I thought it was also incredibly fun to play, challenging to play against, and rewarding for both players in that matchup. And then in May 2022, which is this year actually, we got a new skill for Ancient Gears, which basically says you get to summon Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound without tributing anything, and then on a different turn you get to uh, get a free polymerization. And then they change the scale so you can activate both part of the scales on the same turn, and the scale still did nothing. But this might come to change with the new support. That we're getting with the new box, including Megaton, Golem, and Catapult, and that's it actually. So, as the way I see it, the deck has like two playstyles that don't really naturally mesh with one another. You have the fusion-centric playstyle with Ultimate Golem, with the new Megaton, with the semi-recently released Hunting Hound and the Howitzer, that focuses more so on making big fusions and sticking them to the field, and these fusions can float into other monsters, and that's fine. That's what the new skill was designed for. And then you have the I want to say classic Geartown Turbo destruction stuff, Fortress and Geartown. Now we got Catapult to get more summons from the deck, the hand, etc. And yeah, all these cards uh, don't look like they work with one another. Catapult specifically requires you to have an empty field to activate it, at least no monsters. And yeah, this doesn't work if you have a big fusion thing there. And then there's Wyvern. Wyvern is just an excellent card all around. So I thought it would be interesting to like take a look at these three cards specifically and seeing the sort of stuff that they enabled. Starting with Hunting Hound. I think it's a really good card in general. If burn damage is not relevant, especially when it's been nerfed to 300, but the fact that it allows you to play fusion monsters without having to clog your deck with polymerizations or even rely on a skill to get you polymerization means you can easily slot it in any Ancient Gear strategy and still with the worst hand end on Howitzer or something like that. I like it a lot. Then you have Wyvern, like I just said, excellent card all around, searches your entire archetype on summon, whether it's monsters or back row, extenders, setups for next turns. Just a great card. The one weakness it has is that it prevents you from setting the after you summon it, which kind of messes you up sometimes. I've definitely had games where I summoned this and I was like, oh no, I can set Treacherous Trapple. Well, my mistake. Once you get that little hurdle, it's just an excellent card all around. And then Catapult, the newest support that destroys a face-up back row card which synergies extremely well with Geartown and Fortress to special summon from deck ignoring summoning conditions, meaning you can get Golem from deck with this card, amongst other things. It also has a Galaxy Cyclone-like effect of banishing itself from the graveyard to pop another face-up card you control. In order to special summon a token. So again, you can pop another Geartown, another Fortress with this, and the token can be used as link material, tribute fodder. It's not that relevant, but the fact that you basically get two pops up of this card is pretty decent. Basically, like in the old ancient gear days, we used to play Galaxy Cyclone as our key removal because, well, I guess Cyclone was more versatile because it destroyed enemy back row as well. But you get the idea. Often you would just Galaxy Cyclone your own set gear down and be really happy with it. So it's two sample builds that you can get off of this uh, sort of like conflicting design philosophies. The old fusion build, which is focused around the Battle Ancient Gear skill and Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, just generating a lot of like fusions for the opponent to play with. We play 6 golem total, so we'll always have a normal big beater. Like Ultimate Pound can just end games on its own sometimes. And this deck's best turn one play is Sit on Howitzer. Um, which is fine. Howitzer is a good card, and it can float it to Wyvern, which just has more good cards. But the objective of this deck is like really to OTK as soon as possible. And when it doesn't, it's just kind of there. Then we have the old geartown sort of build. I've decided to include Infinitracks, specifically these two, because they can be searched out with the continuous spell, which you can pop with catapult. So that's a like coincidental additional synergy there. Melody Aegis mech is the skill of choice. It still gives you a continuous spell that boosts your monsters and provides a free target for catapult to pop. And yeah, this can do some Xyz plays. This can do classic Reactor Dragon beatdown. I think it's a decent deck. It doesn't really have any good turn 1 setups, but it punches stuff, and what more can you ask of it? And then, like this new mishmash build that I've been working on, the ratios aren't perfect. I'm still sort of testing it. But the idea is you're trying to combine both design philosophies, thanks to Hunting Hound just allowing you to casually slot in some decent fusion monsters. And yeah, I haven't worked much on the extra deck. I like the Galaxy Eyes sort of engine there. I put it in a lot of decks, don't mind me. And you can use the Ancient Gear Catapult token to go into Anger Knuckle or Mrs. Radiance. So, like, this deck, yeah, I think it has potential. Like, this list is far from perfect, but someone smarter than me will figure it out. A couple of test stand examples. This is a really great hand going second. The plan is you activate Fortress, you activate Catapult, destroying the Fortress, and then with the catapults, you can summon Golem, Wyvern, Hunting Hound. We already have Wyvern and Hunting Hound, so I'd say go either for like Wyvern or Hunting Hound, and then with the Fortress, you summon the other one that you already have on hand. The idea is you want to get Wyvern and Hunting Hound, both of those, and Wyvern can search another Fortress to protect your plays. And then you can easily Hunting Hound fusion into Ultimate Golem for an easy OTK, which, pretty cool. Going second, that's a big board of untargetable monsters because Fortress does give protection. I think this is fine. Going first, this is also a pretty good hand. The idea is basically the same. Fortress, Catapult destroying Fortress, get Hunting Hound, get Wyvern in rotation, get more resources. You can hand on Howitzer, you can hand on Megaton Golems, which is harder to for some decks to get over. Like Salamander Greats are not going to be easily triggering your Howitzer because Sunlight Wolf caps at 1800 attack, which is the defense of Howitzer. But Megaton Golem, also they're not going to be able to remove easily. They're going to have to use back row to get rid of it, which instantly gets you an Ultimate Golem. So I think both options are kind of viable depending on the matchup you're facing. Think against Galaxy Eyes, for instance, you're more likely to want to go into Megaton Golem, or maybe, I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Yeah, I shouldn't have talked about this. Another test and example. This one, we don't have any fortresses, we don't have any gear towns. We have to destroy our Middle Ages Mech 3 castle to get to Hound, and then we just make howitzer, or we can search fortress with the wyvern. Howitzer set to MST pass. They don't know it's MST, so it's still a good bluff. That's a brick. You just pass. Yeah, that's more like it. You get Gear Town, you get Fortress, you can pop the Gear Town because it's always more interesting to pop the Gear Town since Fortress insulates your monsters like the guy that just floated off of Howitzer, for instance. I forgot to say Traitorous Trapple before summoning Wyvern. Don't do that. And yeah, pros and cons of this deck. I think it's really fun. I think it's kind of consistent. Wyvern searches your entire archetype, Catapult into Fortress, really solid play. Big number, punches really hard. I just love Ancient Gears. It's like one of the most potent OTK that also has like resilience and a wide variety of plays accessible to it. Well, not wide, but some plays accessible to it. And the cons, the deck really depends on Catapult Resolving. You see this conjunction, destroy it, and if you do, that means that if you target a fortress going second and your opponent like MSTs or Cosmic Cyclones it, you don't get a special summon off of Catapult, which destroys your entire strategy. Catapult is like crucial to this deck, hands that don't have Catapult are just mostly bad. And even if you can search it with Wyvern, you can't activate it the same turn because, well, you have a face-up monster on the field, and Catapult has this stupid built-in restriction. So it's pretty easy to counter overall. Like, a Howitzer pass is not that strong of a play. Megaton pass is not that strong of a play either. Um, Deck has like a clear weaknesses that are easily exploitable and a game plan that generally lends itself to being dunked on pretty easily. It can break sometimes, as we've seen with like that terrible opening hand. Might be due to my ratios, honestly. But some more versions of the deck are probably like less prone to breaking, maybe even a bit more consistent. Like I said, not a perfect list at all. And last but not least, you don't get that many free spots for back row removal and back row in general. You've seen that list. I was playing 3 MSTs, 2 TTH, 1 TTH. I don't think you can play much else, and TTH is like not the greatest trap in the game anymore. The fact is, you really do need catapults and really good targets for catapults. So at least 2 gear towns, at least 2 fortresses, and 3 catapults, which already takes like 7 spot in your deck. With the wyverns, with the hunting hound, you're starting to like quickly fill your deck with all the cards that you need, and don't have much place for text. So Thank you for thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to comment any ways, ideas, methods of like improving this deck that you have thought of. I'm like really looking forward to like trying to upgrade this deck. Maybe I'll take it into the KC Cup. Probably not. I don't know. If you like the fan art in this video, all the links are in the description as well. And I guess I should be working on that Draco Slayer video, huh? Well, have a good day and see you next time.